My name is Kimberly Jacome.
My name is Hui Tu.
Drew Augustiniak.
Elena Gusay.
Anna Marley.
My first language is Vietnamese.
My first language is Spanish.
English.
My first language is English.
My mom's first language, I'm pretty sure, is Amharic, which is, I think, the major language in Ethiopia. My dad's first language is Tigrinya, which is the major language in Eritrea.
My second language is Spanish.
I learned my second language, English, back in 2003, 2004. I was 9.
Around the beginning of middle school, it's like 1 hour a week kind of thing. So it's like when I was 16, when I started really get into it really in depth and intensive more than I was in Vietnam.
They speak English back in Eritrea, so they knew English back when they were growing up.
I started learning my second language, French, in 6th grade.
Started in preschool, but lost most of that in the public education system. I could not pass as a native Spanish speaker.
People don't know it's my second language.
I'm getting close to speaking French, sounding like a native.
Now I think I can speak well enough, and I think I can make coherent sentence.
Learning a second language was not necessary for me.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, extremely necessary to learn English.
I think it was just something that they had to do to get by.
I think it's necessary because the most popular language is either Chinese or English. It's necessary to get for job in the future.
People are expected to know my native language, English.
The stigma that the United States has behind learning a second language is negative.
They hadn't implemented ESL in my school until I got there.
In high school that I went to, that I don't have an ESL class, but like every time I take a test, I would come to this special room to take a test, and they give me more extra time. They don't dumb down the test, but they just give me more time to do it.
When I was younger, I only had my ESL teacher like 3 times a week for like 30 minutes. And like that slowed down my progress. Up until I entered high school, I was 3 grades like reading level behind because I wasn't able to have an ESL teacher like full time.
People that are not native English speakers here and have an accent are definitely bullied.
There's a lot of bullying because you probably don't know the language as well as you should. I've been here like 12 years, so like about half of that, like for 6 years, I experienced it a lot.
It's a real problem here.
I would definitely say it's a problem.
There is that prejudice if there's an accent or a dialect present.
I have never been bullied for my language proficiency or accent in Spanish.
I've been teased, but nothing that was meant to harm.
Not knowing the language before attending school had a really like negative effect in my life, and especially how I interacted with like a new culture, new students. There's a lot of like negative reactions to like people experiencing like new cultures. There's a lot of bullying because of it.
It's annoying me that like, oh, I wasn't doing it correctly, so I start feeling down because people laugh at it. It's like a paper cut, but a lot of them, then you start bleeding more and you start getting hurt. Or sometimes people like try to like imitate my accent. It's annoying. I wasn't like trying to be funny. I would try to speak.
My accent might be beneficial to me in that people might forgive me more for mistakes that I make because it's clearly a second language.
I think the hardest part is like not having anyone to help you when you're trying to learn a different language.
The hardest part about learning Spanish, trying not to tune it out, because it's your first instinct when you hear something different just to ignore it. Making sure I was actively trying to comprehend it, then it just came a lot more natural.
Because I live with my aunt and my uncle, and both of them don't know English really well, so I do it on my own basically. So it was hard, but because of that, I think I overcome a lot.
My mom, like to this day, will get mad if we talk about her accent, but like my dad loves it.
I told myself that I had to get rid of my accent like as soon as possible. American culture like tends to accept me more because I don't have an accent, and I've gotten to the point where a lot of times people don't really think I'm Hispanic because my English is so good.
My accent still stay there, and my bad grammar, which will it get lessened, but it just never go.
And it does affect you.
Definitely inhibited them.
People are always willing to help me figure out words that I need if I need help with the words.
But there's something unique about me, so I don't think I want to be taken away.
If my parents will tell it, they will be like, no, you have to do certain things to fit in and this and that. But me personally, I don't see the point in that. Say be you, do you, have your accent, use your native language. Like, it's beautiful.
Speaking to Americans, most of them don't speak a second language, so I would say get over yourselves and why don't you try helping them out?
Shouting doesn't make it easier to understand. The volume is not the problem, it's the understanding that might be the problem. So the way that your sentence may have come out, or maybe it was a little bit too fast, it helps if you speak clearly, and you might even slow down your speech a little bit to aid in understanding.
Having an accent doesn't prevent me much because of my ability, but a lot of people think that like having an accent prevent you from communication, and it take a little bit more time at first. After like around 15 to 20 minutes, they start understanding me clearer. It's like a point off when I have an accent when I were doing an interview. Like I don't want to accommodate people by having a standard American English. Like they should try to understand me as I'm already learning a second language. It's a two-way street to communicate, and my accents, it's not like a big part, but I think it's a part of me.
People that speak another language as their first language, they can, and if they can speak English, and even if they can't speak English, that's no reason to treat them any differently.
We will have more diverse population, so hopefully they will be more open-minded to the fact that like people having accents, and it's okay to have accents. They just need to try harder, and as much as we do to try speak clearer, so that both of us can communicate.
I think the American culture is getting better at accepting those dialects, those accents. So if you know how to get by in English and you know how to get by in Spanish, that's something my mom always told me, not to worry, because in the long run I speak 2 languages, so I'm more likely to get hired.
It's their culture. It's how they're still attached to home.
They speak perfectly good English, it's just an accent.
Don't be ashamed for having that accent.
I think it's just kind of a little part of them that they can't get rid of.